We have a problem.
How big a problem?
A 1,200 square foot metal box.
What you gonna do about it?
Hopefully bridge that gap with a wireless bridge. Hey friends, welcome back to the channel. If this is your first time here, I'm Art.
I'm Dana.
And if you are here watching this with us, you either have nothing better to do
or you have the same problem that we have.
Which is probably more the reason
more
why
likely.
you're here. Yeah, definitely.
It's the big metal shop behind us.
Yeah, and no internet inside of it when the doors are closed.
It's like a big Faraday cage in there. It's all metal and everything gets closed off.
Yeah, everything gets closed off. And I was a bonehead when I was running new power to the shop. I should have ran a hard line from our router into the shop to get Wi-Fi, but I did not.
What's that about? Stupid entertainment?
Yeah, a lot of stupid here with this one for sure. So now that we have so many projects and we need to spend all year round in the shop, it's not so practical to be able to keep the doors open while also trying to run the heater inside.
Yeah.
So we need to get Wi-Fi in there for streaming TV and music, for looking up parts, for looking up how in the world to do something on one of these damn project cars that we've got.
Or even just having the football game on.
Yes, definitely football.
Personal foul, unnecessary roughness, number 57 of the kicking team.
So recognizing the problem that we have, Adalov sent us their line of sight wireless bridge kit.
Gonna bridge the gap.
So in this episode, we are going to go through an unboxing, installation, configuration, a little prayer, hoping that this actually works for us.
It'll work. It'll work.
Confidence. I like it. I like it. So let's go ahead and jump right into the unboxing and go from there. All right, for our wireless bridge, we have two boxes. So let's go ahead and start in the small one. All right, this is all of our hardware needed to attach it to the building, to the house. You've got your sets of poles. If you're mounting it to drywall, they've got it, some drywall anchors, screws, hose clamps for the poles themselves, and of course the mounting brackets to the poles and to the units. Okay, we have our user manual. We have our bridge devices. We've got two Cat5 cables. These are probably about 1.5 feet or so each. We have some zip ties. And these are our PoE, which is Power over Ethernet. If you're not familiar with Power over Ethernet, basically what it does is it powers the device over your Cat5 cable. So you're going to plug this in near your router, then you're only going to have one Cat5 cable that goes out to your Wi-Fi bridge devices. So you won't have to have power where these are actually going to be mounted. So it's a huge advantage, a lot less cabling, and it makes everything much easier to be able to mount wherever you actually need them, especially for the outer areas where we're going to be, where running power to is just not an option.
All right, so here we are in the shop with the doors closed. And this is the workshop where we get all of our automotive work done and our entertainment system up against the wall.
So if you're into classic restorations like we are, or other automotive projects, be sure to check out our other channel, Spirited Wrenchers.
All right, we have Roku on the TV, and we're going to click on wireless to set up our connection. And nothing.
Before we get too far into actually mounting this up, what we first need to do is make a couple of changes, or at least verify we know which is which, because we'll need to open up the base of this, and then there is a little switch with an M and an S. So there is a master and a slave. You want to be more conscious on the technical terms. You've got a sender and a receiver. And one is already marked for each one that comes in the kit. And you want to make sure that you put the M on the main one that has the cabling from your router. And then the S, which is going to be the receiver, is the one that we're going to put on our shop itself. So since I've got this one here, I need to go ahead and change that one over to M. And we'll go ahead and get this mounted up now. Prior to actually setting these units up in the location where you're planning on putting them, I highly recommend that you set them up on a table very similar to how we have it here. This will allow you to configure it much simpler and allow you to troubleshoot any issues that do come up rather than you jumping from unit to unit across your property. You're going to have your first PoE converter here. The LAN port will run into your router port. The PoE port will end up going into your sending unit. Your second converter, PoE port, into your receiving bridge, and then the LAN port will go into your tablet or laptop for configuration. For the configuration process, it is pretty straightforward in the guide in actually accessing the web interface and going through each of the steps. All right, from a browser window, you're going to type in the IP address 169.254.254.254. Refresh it, and then it's going to bring us to our overview screen. From here, we're going to go into our bridge. In the bridge section, this is where you could change your SSIDs if you so choose, so you know what things are named there on your network. Also, I highly recommend changing the password to where you know exactly what those are. Everything else can remain the same. You want to change it on both the access point as well as the client, and then hit save. Now we'll go into bridge client, and here, without having connected already, you will have a different SSID in there, likely for that receiving unit still. We're going to hit scanning bridge network. It's going to pick up any signals that it receives in order of strength. You'll see our sending, our master side as number 1. The signal strength number is a negative. The lower that number is, the stronger your signal is. So don't be fooled by that. We're going to go with that. We're going to hit yes. Then we're going to hit save. Those two bridge units are now connected.
All right, we've got it plugged in. You see the white little LED lights showing that we've got full strength. Pan over to this side and see that our power light is on as well. Now inside the shop you are going to need another router. I'm using a Linksys tri-band router that I picked up used off of Marketplace. So there are tons of them out there. Just do your research and pick up the best deal that you can find. All right, we've got our iPad plugged into the router. Router is plugged into the LAN port on the PoE adapter. All right, we're going to open up a new window. We're going to go into our Linksys config 192.168.1.1. And we have internet. Yeah! Oh man. Okay. Now let's do a speed test within the interface here. Let's see what we're getting. Okay, we've got some numbers. 9.5 download, 9.7 upload. Interesting. Okay, big test now. How is it for streaming? Okay, now that the Roku is hardwired in, we're going to go in, change our network, set up connection, and it has automatically detected the network. Yeah! We've got an IP address. Everything is there. Now let's test for stream. Turn on our sound.
Marco and Book, bueno, you're Panther now.
This is the entire theater. We've opened every security measure in the district. As you can see,
Yes!
there are no
Yes!
So we'll have to create one. There are 127 cameras fed into central security right here in this.
Well, I couldn't even pull Dana out of the shop. She is inside setting up all of our streaming networks now, so we could be working throughout the night on any of our projects. A huge thank you to Adalov for hooking us up and solving this massive 260-foot problem that we have. So thank you once again. If this episode was beneficial to you, be sure to smash that like button and give us your thoughts, especially if you're setting up something like this, what your area or network needs to look like. But until next episode, we hope you take care, stay safe, and we look forward to seeing you again soon. Bye.